Prohibitions don't just tell us what's forbidden, they expose what's actually happening. Every prohibition is a negative image, a glimpse into the reality that was commonplace enough to warrant suppression. And when it comes to magic, history makes this undeniable. The Hebrew Bible, what Christians call the Old Testament, contains multiple prohibitions against practices we now classify as magic, particularly divination. But let's read between the lines. If laws were passed to condemn magic, then magic must have been a common part of Israelite culture. That creates an interesting paradox. The laws condemned it, sometimes harshly, as in Exodus 22:18. Do not allow a sorceress to live. Yet these laws prove the existence of magical practitioners. The more severe the law, the more certain you can be that people were actively engaging in the practice. Jewish magic, then, wasn't some underground anomaly. It was woven into the fabric of ancient Israelite life. It existed alongside rabbinical orthodoxy, and some of its knowledge survived within the shadows of history. Today, we're exploring one of the earliest surviving Jewish magical texts, Sepher ha-Razim, or the Book of Secrets. According to legend, this text was revealed to none other than Noah by the angel Raziel, whose very name means the secret of God. This book barely escaped oblivion, hidden away for centuries before resurfacing. Inside, it fuses cosmology, angelology, and Greco-Egyptian magic. Need to influence a horse race? Inquire about the future? Silence your enemies? Sepher ha-Razim has a ritual for that. But this isn't just some historical footnote. It's a bridge, a text that links late classical magic to medieval ritual traditions, including necromancy. Sepher ha-Razim was one of thousands of fragments stored in the Geniza of the Ibn Ezra synagogue in Cairo. In Jewish tradition, religious texts containing divine names can't just be tossed in the trash. They must be buried with the same care as a corpse. But for reasons unknown, the Geniza in Cairo wasn't emptied, and over centuries it became a massive repository of over 400,000 text fragments. Forgotten by history, rediscovered in the late 19th century, and still being studied today. Among those fragments, scholar Mordecai Margoliot noticed something peculiar. Certain texts share striking similarities in structure, language, and even handwriting. Over 3 years, 1963 to 1966, he pieced together an ancient magical manual now recognized as Sepher ha-Razim. Scholars date it to the 3rd or 4th century CE based on linguistic evidence, cultural references, and internal text markers. It's a hybrid of two traditions, Merkava mysticism and late classical magical syncretism. Merkava mysticism is about divine ascent, or rather descent. The mystic must pass through various heavenly palaces, each guarded by terrifying angelic gatekeepers, armed with complex passwords and seals. The end goal, to approach the divine throne and sometimes even become a being of fire, merging with the celestial choir of God. This was the dominant Jewish mystical tradition long before Kabbalah emerged. Then there's the second thread, the magical syncretism of the late classical world. This is where things get interesting. Sepher ha-Razim contains magic deeply influenced by Egyptian, Greek, and Roman traditions, much like the Greek magical papyri. It calls upon a vast array of supernatural entities, angels, demons, gods, and goddesses, from Thoth to Hermes, from Hecate to Christ. Rituals involve invoking divine names, burning incense, using magical oils, and crafting inscriptions on metal plates. And the applications, wildly diverse: need to cure a stroke, win a court case, summon ghostly apparitions, influence a chariot race. Sepher ha-Razim has you covered. One spell explicitly instructs the magician to inscribe angelic names on a silver lamella, hide it in a race lane, and invoke celestial forces to ensure a chosen horse wins. This discovery in 1963 helped confirm the text's dating, as chariot racing declined in the Western Roman Empire after the 6th century. The text is structured into 7 heavens, each with its own angelic hierarchy and corresponding magical powers. By invoking the correct angelic entities, practitioners could access supernatural abilities. The ultimate tier, the 7th heaven, holds the throne of God and the divine Chayot. Unlike the prior sections, this level doesn't prescribe magical techniques, but instead immerses the reader in the grandeur of the divine, mirroring Merkavah hymns still found in Jewish liturgy. The influence of Sepher HaRazim didn't stop at the classical world. Over time, it made its way into Europe, was translated into Arabic and Latin, and gave birth to Liber Razielis, a medieval Latin text that became a cornerstone of Solomonic magic. The Latin version diverged significantly from the original, carving its own path into the annals of Western esoteric tradition. This is one of the longest continuously practiced magical texts in Western history. If you want to study it, Michael Morgan's translation is one of the best and most accessible editions. For deeper dives, look to Mordecai Margalios or Peter Schaeffer's scholarly editions, though they're in Hebrew and German, respectively. At the Metacenter, many of these ancient texts have been available for scholars and the studious amongst us, completely free of charge, at that which have led to some very interesting discussions concerning the ancient history, Eden, the lineage of Cain, discarded history, and much more. Sepher ha-Razim is a foundational yet often overlooked text that bridges ancient Jewish mysticism with the broader magical traditions of the Mediterranean world. More texts will be explored in the future. Until then, stay sharp, stay aware, and remember, the deeper you dig, the more you'll uncover.